Hi. So in this video, we're going to be exploring the concept of pre and post increment for variables. Alright. Now, what is this concept of pre and post increment? Okay. Now, when I normally declare a variable, let's say I say integer I equals to 1 and I want to increment it. If I say I equals to I plus 1, then we know that when I execute this statement, I would have changed from 1 to 2. Okay, so this is straightforward. Now in C, or in programming in general, we have another way of doing it known as pre and post increment. Okay, so let's understand what this means. So first is pre increment and then post increment. So the idea of pre increment is I put a plus plus followed by the I, okay, in this case the variable name, or I plus plus. Now, if I were to execute either of this instruction by itself, okay, without it being a part of any other expression, then the result would be the same. Okay, that means if I equals to 1, okay, before I execute this instruction, after that it would have become 2. Alright, so let me show you this first. So currently I have a variable I equals to 1, okay, and I print out the value of I. So let me run the code. Okay, so you see that value of I equals to 1. Okay, now if I were to do a I plus plus here and I print out the value of I one more time, okay, I would see that the value of I has incremented to 2. Okay, if I were to change this to plus plus I, it will still be the same. Okay, I equals to 1, I equals to 2. So that is what I mentioned. If I use plus plus I or I plus plus by itself without it being a part of any other expression, then the result is the same. Okay, but if this pre and post increment operation is together with a larger statement or expression, then the behavior will change. Okay, so how will it change? So for pre increment, so since I do the plus plus first, I increment first. Okay, I increment first and then I use. Alright, for post increment, so the plus plus comes after. So the first step is to use and then increment after. Okay, increment after. Alright, so what do we mean by this? Okay, so let's see it in the code and we get a better idea. Alright, now instead of putting the pre and post expression separately, I'm going to put it here as part of a bigger expression or statement, which is the cout expression. Okay, so in the first statement I print out the value of I, that is 1, but in the second statement when I print it out I use I plus plus. Okay, so what is I plus plus? So I plus plus means I use an increment after. So I use the current value of I first and then I increment after that. Okay, so if I run the code now, you see that when I print out the value of I in the second statement is still 1. Okay, because I'm using the current value first and then I will increment. Okay, so just to show you that it has actually incremented, I will add one more statement here. Okay, and we will see that in this final statement, the third statement, the value of I is 2. Okay, why is it so? Because in the second statement I use the current value of I, so when I print it out it is still 1, but after that I increment. So in the third statement it is showing the updated value, the incremented value. Okay, now let me change this now to the pre-increment. So what does pre-increment do? I increment first, then I use the value of I. Okay, so by now you should be able to make a good guess that since I'm going to increment first, the value of 1 would actually be updated to 2 first and then I will print it out. Okay, so now as you had guessed, the value of I has already been incremented first, okay, because it's plus plus, then only I'm using it. So I'm using it in the printout after the increment has been done. So in the second statement itself, the value of I is 2. So in the third statement, I'm just printing out the value of I, which was already updated in the earlier expression. Okay, so I hope that this video gives you a clear idea of pre and post. Okay, so just to give a quick recap, if I use it by itself, plus plus I or I plus plus, okay, as an individual standalone statement, then there's no difference. But when I use it as part of a bigger expression or statement, then the rules will apply, where pre-increment means I increment first and then I use, post increment means I use first and then increment after. Okay, so I hope that this concept is now clear. Alright, so thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.